For 17 years, a shadow loomed over America, an unseen figure striking fear into universities, airlines, and unsuspecting victims. Between 1978 and 1995, a series of deadly bombings sent investigators on one of the longest and most complex manhunts in FBI history, a reclusive genius, former math professor, and the infamous Unabomber. From a small cabin in the Montana wilderness, what drove a brilliant academic to turn into one of the most elusive criminals in American history? How did his manifesto lead to his capture? And what is his lasting impact on domestic terrorism? This is the story of the Unabomber, 17 years of terror, the mind behind the crimes, and the investigation that finally brought him down. The man behind the terror? Ted Kaczynski. Before he became the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski was a gifted child, a math prodigy with a future full of promise. Born in 1942 in Chicago, he excelled academically from an early age, skipping 2 grades and earning admission to Harvard University at just 16 years old. At Harvard, Kaczynski's intelligence was undeniable, but his social life was nearly non-existent. He was shy, withdrawn, and isolated. During his time there, he was subjected to a controversial psychological study, one that some believe played a role in shaping his later views on society and control. By 25, he had earned a PhD in mathematics and became the youngest professor ever hired by the University of California, Berkeley. But despite his academic success, Kaczynski felt increasingly disconnected from modern civilization. In 1969, just 2 years into his teaching career, he abruptly resigned. His reason? He wanted to escape. Leaving behind modern comforts, Kaczynski retreated to the remote forests of Montana, where he built a small, primitive cabin. No electricity, no running water, just solitude. At first, he claimed he was searching for peace, but what he found was anger. Over time, Kaczynski transformed from a reclusive thinker into a radicalized extremist. His belief system hardened into a dangerous ideology, one that would soon explode into violence. On May 25, 1978, a package bomb was discovered at Northwestern University. It was small, crudely made, and designed to kill. When a university security officer picked it up, it exploded, marking the beginning of one of the longest and most elusive bombing campaigns in U.S. history. Ted Kaczynski's bombs terrorized America for 17 years, targeting technology's expansion. His attacks killed 3, injured 23, and confounded the FBI's investigation. Each package was handcrafted, untraceable, and strategically sent to universities, airlines, and researchers. The FBI, despite years of forensic analysis, struggled to identify the elusive bomber. His campaign escalated in 1979 when a bomb nearly downed a plane. The FBI's Unabomber task force launched a nationwide hunt, but Kaczynski adapted. In 1995, he made a critical mistake, his manifesto, leading to his downfall. His bombs varied in complexity but always carried his signature touch: wooden casings, handwritten notes, and an obsession with precision. His victims included professors, airline executives, scientists, and even a computer store owner. He targeted those he believed were advancing modern technology, which he saw as a direct threat to humanity. The FBI launched an extensive investigation, codenamed Unabomber, short for University and Airline Bomber. Agents examined thousands of leads, yet Kaczynski remained a ghost. For years, forensic experts studied his devices, hoping to find a unique marker. But he adapted, refining his designs to stay ahead of the investigation. In 1995, Ted Kaczynski made a decision that would change everything. After nearly 2 decades of bombings, he wanted more than destruction. He wanted the world to hear his message. That message came in the form of a 35,000-word manifesto titled Industrial Society and Its Future, a chilling document that would ultimately lead to his downfall. Kaczynski's manifesto was more than a personal rant. It was a carefully constructed argument against industrialization and modern technology. He believed that rapid technological advancement was destroying nature, eroding human freedom, and enslaving people to a system beyond their control. He claimed that as technology progressed, individuals would lose autonomy, becoming nothing more than cogs in an unstoppable machine. But Kaczynski wasn't just writing about these ideas. He was willing to kill for them. In a bold move, he sent his manifesto to the New York Times and the Washington Post, demanding they publish it. If they refused, the bombings would continue. After intense debate, the government and media agreed. It was better to print the manifesto and possibly expose the Unabomber than allow the terror to continue. On September 19, 1995, the manifesto was published, giving the world an unprecedented look into Kaczynski's mind. What he didn't realize was that his words would be his undoing. The manifesto, printed in major newspapers, was read by millions. Investigators combed through its ideas, searching for clues, while the public debated its radical claims. But among those readers was someone who saw more than just ideology. He saw something deeply familiar. David Kaczynski, Ted's own brother, noticed the distinct writing style and unusual phrasing.
It began in 1995 when, in my home, my wife Linda sat me down one day and said, "Dave, did you ever consider the possibility, even the remote possibility, that your brother might be the Unabomber?"
David Kaczynski had long suspected something was off about his brother's behavior, but it wasn't until he read the manifesto that everything clicked.
And now the manifesto has been sent to the newspapers, and though it hasn't been published, letters that my brother had sent to me over the years, and not that we ever found a phrase that was conclusive,
right?
But I began to feel over a period of time I could almost hear his voice, and that.
On April 3, 1996, a heavily armed FBI task force descended on the tiny, isolated cabin near Lincoln, Montana. Inside, they found a scene that confirmed their worst fears. The evidence was undeniable. Ted Kaczynski was the Unabomber. Ted Kaczynski spent the last 27 years of his life in a prison cell, far from the wilderness he once called home. In 2023, Kaczynski was found dead in his prison cell, reportedly by suicide. His story is a chilling reminder of how ideology, when fueled by isolation and resentment, can turn into violence. What do you think? Was Kaczynski a misguided genius or simply a murderer? If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another video.